Today I'll be sharing my story of how I stepped on this intuitive leadership journey and why. And it's pretty vulnerable when I'm sharing this story. But it is important because we all have a story, right? Would you agree? And these stories shape us. These stories shape our lives and our lives' journeys. These stories shape who we meet, what we do, where we go. I believe that they shape everything. But the deepest realization of sharing a story that shaped us is whether we have learned, whether we understood the message we got through anything that we lived through or not. So I want to share my intuitive leadership journey with you today. And welcome everyone. This is your space for everything intuition, mindset, and aligned energy. And I'm here to help you to achieve whatever you desire in most aligned way, okay? So this path of intuitive leadership helped me move beyond the limitations of my old and wounded self, the part of me that was just trying to get by. And I promise you, it can do the same for you. When you shift from surviving in 3D to thriving in your fullest expression, your life transforms in ways you can't even imagine. So let's rewind more than 25 years back to the moment I got my first powerful wake-up call. So I'll be sharing introduction to my book, Blast Through to Your Personal Power Using Intuition, that is available on Amazon. I woke up in the middle of the night struggling to breathe. Anxiety had gripped me like a vice, and all I could do was wait for it to pass. I was terrified, not just by the sensation in my chest, but by the overwhelming fear that I had lost my way in life, not knowing what to do next, to whom to turn to, or how to deal with the situation I was in. The future felt heavy, uncertain, and bleak. I could not help but wonder, had I missed the point of all of it by following the wrong path? I was only 26 years old, but it felt like my whole life had collapsed in a single weekend. My life had veered off course, and I knew something had to change. I told myself it was time to reset, to choose a new direction. At that moment, it did not matter how I ended up there. I was too exhausted to analyze it. I just knew I needed out. I needed a way out. I wanted a fresh start. I wanted better. Because in my 20s, I wasn't living, I was drifting. I let life carry me like a leaf on the surface of a stormy sea, never daring to grip the wheel or question the direction. But you can only drift for so long before the storm claims you. And one day it did. My boat, my carefully constructed illusion of a life shattered. It did not just sink, it imploded. My work crumbled. My love vanished into thin air, and my bank account bled dry. I quit my job, couldn't pay my rent or car bills, and my romantic relationship was at dead end. I lost everything. And when I say everything, I mean the very ground beneath my feet. Then came that night, the panic attack that cracked me wide open. I woke up grasping for air, heart pounding, suffocating on the weight of my own fears. But somewhere in that darkness, through the storm of anxiety and despair, a tiny voice whispered, "You can rebuild." And just like that, everything shifted. A flicker of hope ignited this wreckage. Yes, my self-worth had gone down with the ship, buried deep in the mud of self-doubt and shame. But even in that lowest moment, something inside me refused to die. I realized I had a choice. I could give up, or I could start again, from nothing, from the bare bones of what was left. I told myself, go back home, to your mother's house, begin again with whatever you've got. My path could only lead upwards, not downwards anymore. And strangely, that felt like freedom, like a new beginning, because the good news was I had already hit the bottom. There was nowhere deeper to sink. The only direction left was up. So I decided to return home, ironically, to the source of the problem and my dark night of the soul, and start over. But it wasn't easy. Speaking with confidence felt foreign, like trying to wear someone else's skin. My voice trembled, my hand shook, my body screamed what my mind hadn't yet admitted. I was completely out of alignment. The anxiety didn't just whisper, it roared through me in waves. Panic attacks would hit like a tidal waves, leaving me breathless and paralyzed. Migraines gripped my skull like a vice, sometimes for days. I felt like I was being dragged under again and again by the invisible force. But in the depths of that storm, something ancient in me steered. I turned to self-healing, not out of luxury, but out of sheer necessity. I dove into modality, any modality I could find, clinging to each new practice like a lifeline. And slowly, so slowly, the tide began to shift. The panic attacks softened, the migraines eased, but my self-esteem, that was a fortress in ruin. Rebuilding it was brutal. 3 years excavation of every broken belief, every inherited lie. Brick by brick, I laid a new foundation. And though the process nearly broke me, it also birthed something entirely new. I became a seeker, not by choice, but by desperation, yet later admitting to myself that that was exactly what I needed. The ruins of my former life whispered questions I could no longer ignore. What else was out there? Why is this happening to me? How do I climb out of this darkness and become whole again? And these questions became my compass, pulling me towards something unseen, something ancient and wise that pulsated just beneath the surface of ordinary life. And I followed that whisper like a trail of stardust through sleepless nights, tear-streaked journals, and moments of earlier silence where I swore the universe was breathing beside me. That hunger to heal, to understand, became my fire, and slowly the path rebuilt itself. With every step, I gathered tools, wisdom, and fragments of truth that pieced together the map back to myself. So this is just a few words from what was happening before I became a seeker, because I tried to find the answers in the way I was living, in the environment, in the educational system, my friendships, my family, but I didn't find them. I had to go deeper. I had to go deeper to heal and to find the purpose of everything that was happening, because I was not the kind of person to seek medical help or finding that magical pill. I knew inside of me that there is something else, and finally I could and I did embark on that way, and that was the start of intuitive leadership. Because I couldn't, as I said, find the answers in 17 years of going to school with university degree in my pocket. But I did find the answer in finally connecting to this source of my true identity, which was through excavating everything that was covering my connection to inner wisdom and intuition. And this is what I want for you too. To start using your natural given power of intuition to make better decisions in your life, to lead from empowered place, not from a place of lack. Thus making lives, your life and lives of everybody you touch, in whatever way you touch them, better. And thus, in a consequence, building a better world of creativity and abundance for all, not lack and constant struggle as we are witnessing this world right now. So if any of this, I will be continuing with this story in my next Facebook Lives and YouTube, on my YouTube channel, but if that story in any way resonates with you, I'm here for you. Let's connect and let's talk. I want to help you build that inner strength, inner power, make empowered decision, and create whatever you are here to create, to connect to that source within, to that direct link to the source, and to step into your true identity and true worth. Okay? How does that sound? I will also be happy if you're listening. Share whatever thoughts, whatever questions you have, and of course, if that message resonates or not.